So, hello everyone. My name is Mira Vasic, and I'm your next speaker. I'm going to share my slides with you. In the meanwhile, maybe some other people will join. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So, as I said, my name is Mira Vasic, and I'm senior partner and co-owner at InTouch Female Leadership and Career Academy. Today, I'm going to talk about how to be an inclusive leader in tech. And why did I even thought about this topic, being an engineer? Well, during my studies in civil engineering, we were quite equal number of men and women. But as soon as I started to work in male dominant companies and organizations, which are mainly tech, I noticed that those numbers start to drop quite fast. And especially if we look at those top positions. So I always wondered, why does that happen? And I'm very happy that since January this year, I'm dedicating myself full time to helping people to understand how can we attract, recruit, and retain more diverse workforce. So let's dive directly into it. So as I said, we are going to talk about how to be an inclusive leader in tech. I'm going to talk to you about 3 main steps that you can take in order to become an inclusive leader. The first step is understand what leadership is. The second step is attract more diverse workforce by becoming conscious about your unconscious gender biases. And the third one is do a sanity and reality check. So we are going to talk now into details more about each of these ones. Step number 1 is understand what makes you a leader. You know, what I have seen in the practice is that quite a lot of people, and particularly people with preferred feminine working style, are fighting or struggling with identifying themselves as leaders, especially when they don't have an official title of being a manager, being a top expert, and so on. And that's what I would like to explain you now. So what is leadership? Well, leadership, it's all about people. I'm going to give you an example for that. So in 1969 was the first time when computers from Stanford and UCLA connected. And that happened in 1969, but much earlier than that moment, there was a person who said, I believe that we should connect computers at Stanford and UCLA. And I think that we should do it this way. So I'm sure I was not there, but I'm sure that there were quite a lot of people who told this person, oh yeah, you are crazy, that's never going to happen, and that's so difficult, why would we want to do that, and so on. But there was this group of people, maybe a few of them, who loved that idea, who loved the way how this person wanted to do that. And these people decided to follow that person on this path of connecting to computers at Stanford and UCLA. So what happened at that moment is that a person with a vision, believing that they should connect the two computers, and a mission that and a mission to do it, has gained followers. And by that, this person has become a leader. So leadership is all about people. It is about people who follow you. And being a leader can also be not followed by your official title. But there can be a critical mass of people that is willing to follow you on your mission, on your path to fulfill your vision. What is also leadership about? It is about giving power to the others. You know, old school and old time, I would say, leadership style, which was authoritative and kind of monologue leadership, is over. The new era of leadership and leaders seek for people who are giving the power to do things, giving the power to fulfill the mission and vision to the other people. And what is even more important is not telling them how they should do it, but telling them and giving them all the tools and power that they can do it themselves in their very own specific and particular way of doing it. The step number 2 would be include different people by excluding the bias. So recent research in neuroscience has revealed that the unconscious gender bias is what we all have, and it is one of the biggest obstacles in having a diverse and inclusive workforce at the workplace. So I would like to explain you how important it is to reflect on ourselves and think about, when are we biased? I haven't said on purpose, are we biased? Because we all are. I am also biased. You are biased. Each of you that is listening to this talk is biased. But when I'm biased and why? So in order to do that, I want to explain you, first of all, what is unconscious bias. So imagine that you are in a vacation house in Sweden, for example, in the middle of nowhere, snow, and you wake up in the morning and you open the door of your house and you see a polar bear. So what would you do? Would you instantly close the door, or you would look at the bear, think how it is, and invite the bear inside to have a coffee, and then think if the bear is competent or not? So what would happen is that you would quickly shut the door. So that happens because you have seen, and I have seen, we have seen so many times the pictures of how bear is dangerous for people. So every time that we see the same picture, the same video, and that we have maybe experienced a similar thing, or that we have been told a similar thing, a certain connection is made in our brain. And that is, a polar bear means danger. And conclusion or judgment of that situation is, I'm going to shut the door quickly. So in this case, the unconscious bias keeps us safe. It is very useful. The tricky part is that our brain does and makes such judgments for all kinds of situations. And it becomes very problematic when it is judgment about people, and especially about their performances. So if you think of my story on the beginning, how a person in 1969 came up with the idea of connecting the two computers together, what kind of person came into your mind? Was it a woman? Was it a Black woman? Was it an Asian man? What kind of person came into your mind? So these kind of exercises show you that we all have a bias. In big amount of cases, what people imagine is a white 50 years old man, because that is our unconscious connection with leadership. If that is not the case, then what we imagine is someone very similar to us. So if we are not ourselves that 50 years old white man, then we would imagine someone else, but who is very similar to ourselves. So I would like to explain you now how does that becomes dangerous and not a good path to inclusive leadership. So when we are relying on our unconscious gender bias, what happens is that we have a different criteria for people who are having the same performance. And that kind of unconscious criteria comes from our unconscious bias. So for example, most of the people expect from men to be assertive, to take the lead. And on the other hand, most of the people expect from women to be both assertive, to take the lead, but also to be kind and nice. And this is only because we see them as men and women. It doesn't have to do anything actually with their real gender identity or how these people feel about themselves. It is about how the observer looks at these people and what kind of automatic connection comes into our brain. So the consequence of this is that we give the power to people who satisfy less criteria. And in this case, those are men. Because for them, in most situations, it is enough only to be assertive and to take the lead, for example. But on the other hand, if we are looking at women, we expect all that, but also that they are kind and nice with us. By having such a different criteria for same kind of people, we are not creating the same opportunity for all people. And we are unconsciously excluding a big group of people. So what we have to do if we want to be inclusive is to, first of all, become conscious about our bias, to recognize in which situations we are biased, and then to take time and consciously make a bias-free judgment. Once we have a conscious bias-free judgment, we'll have equal opportunities for all kinds of people, no matter what their gender identity is, no matter what their cultural background it is, educational background, but it takes a lot of effort, both physically and psychologically. But once we have that sorted out, what we will have at the end is that everyone will feel heard, and their contributions will be valued and successes celebrated in the same way. I can give you an example of my own bias. So a couple of years ago, I went to deliver my baby in a hospital. So I come inside and I see this older woman in a white suit, you know, and I thought, oh yeah, that is a doctor, that is a gynecologist. So I come to her and I said, oh my God, I'm in such pains. Where should I lay down and so on? And she said, oh yeah, just wait here. I can give you a coffee because I'm the assistant and the doctor will come. So in a couple of minutes, the doctor comes, and that was this very, very young, much younger than me, doctor in a black suit. And it was a man. So my unconscious bias was that I thought, yeah, it's a woman, so she must be a gynecologist. She's older, so that means that she's higher in the hierarchy. And by that, I thought that she was superior. But that was not the case. That was not the reality. So the third step is doing the sanity and reality check. So nowadays you can read at many companies, organizations, that they are inclusive, that they want to recruit more diverse workforce, that they want to retain more diverse workforce. But what is important is to do the sanity and reality check. Is that so in the field that you are leading? Is that so in the team that you are leading, or in the organization that you are leading? So I was working in a company a couple of years ago, and the company was very loud about inclusiveness and diversity. But what struck me was that 9 out of 10 people that left that company during 5 years that I was working there were women. And that was the category that we already not had that much. So there was already a lack of women. And then we had a situation that 9 out of 10 people leaving the department were women. And once I spoke with HR and diversity officers over there, they said, oh, yeah, that can be in that department, but we don't believe that that's so in the entire company. So it is really good to do the sanity and reality check and see what is really there. And sometimes ask other people, ask external people. Can you have a look at our webpage? Can you have a look at our HR statistics? Can you have a look at how our company looks like from outside? And this is a couple of days example from a couple of days ago. So I saw on LinkedIn a post about a vacancy. It is a tech company in the Netherlands, and they are hiring new people. And this was the picture next to the vacancy. So when I see these kind of pictures, they struck me a kind. So I thought, oh my God, so are they looking only for a man for this position? So I was curious. I clicked on the vacancy. I went to their webpage. And out of all pictures on their webpage, there was only one picture showing a woman from her back. So you could see only her hair, basically. So I thought, whoa, I would never apply for such a company where I would be maybe the only woman or maybe a second woman in that company. But what was good is I made a note to the CEO of this company under the post, and I said, well, are you realizing that you have only men on the pictures of your webpage? And he was like, oh, wow, I never realized that actually. Thank you so much for mentioning it. I'm going to check it. So quite often, leaders are not aware of what is the real reality. So make sure that inclusiveness fluctuates through all levels in your company or in your team. Another point is that besides all those written rules that you have on the page of your company and in the contracts of employees, what exists also are the unwritten rules. And because of the fact that most of the companies and organizations around the world, and especially tech companies in the past, were originally founded by men, the unwritten rules of doing a business and making a career are set to fit what I call a masculine preferred working style. So the problem is when the people with feminine preferred working style come to a workforce, they first of all don't realize that the kind of game is played at the workplace. And that in most cases, the rules of such a game are unwritten and unspoken. And because they don't understand the game and they don't understand the rules, they are not able to play the game. And that's why also the women get much slower promoted to the first managerial position, according to the McKinsey report of last year, Women at the Workplace. So what is important is to check the real reality and to check, are there certain unwritten rules next to the written ones, which not all people are aware of? And making sure that all people become aware of these rules and maybe change such rules or make them written rules. Changing these rules is very important if such rules are in favor of one particular category of the workplace people. So I'm going to give you an example of such unwritten rule. So what I said, we have feminine and masculine unwritten rules, and all people have a mix of both of them in ourselves. No matter what our gender identity is or how other people see us, but we all have a mix of that. So I use this picture quite a lot in my workshops and trainings that I give. And I ask people, what do you think? What are these couples doing? So if I ask women, they will tell me, oh yeah, the ladies, they are looking really worried. They are talking about something important. They are connecting to each other. They are even touching to each other. They are reflecting. They are caring about what each other is talking. And then on the other hand, yeah, man, they are having a laugh. They are talking about something funny. They're looking at their bag, so that means they're talking about some jokes, something superficial. They look relaxed, they're having fun. If I ask men, what are these four people doing? What are these two couples doing? They say, they talk. And that's it. So people with a lot of masculine features, they don't have importance of keeping the eye contact, of touching each other while talking, for example. But for people with feminine working style and feminine features, the eye contact means bonding, engaging, caring, important. So you get these two interpretations of a very same picture. I can also tell you what was the reality in this picture. So this picture is taken in Dutch Parliament. These are ex-ministers and nowadays ministers in the Dutch government. And this picture was taken a couple of minutes just before the meeting about Mali. And that is extremely difficult, complicated, and complex topic for the Dutch government. So most probably these four people were talking about exactly the same thing. But the way they were talking about it is very much different. So what we have spoken about today is how to be an inclusive leader in tech. And what I told you about were 3 steps. The first step is understand what makes you a leader. Understand that other people have to see you as a leader and to follow your mission on the way to fulfill your vision. And that is the only thing that makes you a leader, your followers. It can be, your vision and mission can be on the content side. It can be on the technical side. It can be on a conceptual change, but you have to have it clear for yourself. You have to believe in that, and you have to communicate your mission and vision towards the outer world. The second one is include different people by excluding your unconscious bias. And including different people is not only including people with a migration background, people with different cultural backgrounds, all kinds of gender identities, but it is also including yourself. Because what I said, quite a lot of people don't see them as leaders. Even when you have quite a lot of people following you on your leader, but the reality says that they already are. So then we come to the third point, and that is do the sanity and reality check. What the numbers say, how diverse and inclusive your workforce really is. But further on, how inclusive your meetings are. Does everyone feel heard and seen? Is everyone's success equally celebrated? Check these things and check it in all levels of your organization. When you have all these 3 steps together, what is important to know is also that there is no right or wrong way to be a leader, and there is only your own way. What happens then is up to people if they will follow you on your mission and if they will believe in your vision. But once you become a leader, don't be afraid to embrace it and make constant efforts to be inclusive, because it is a constant long-term shot. So I would like to thank you all for joining this talk. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you find it useful. What you can do is you can follow me on LinkedIn and you can connect me with LinkedIn. This is the QR code to my profile. I will also put you the link to my profile in the chat now. And what will be happening, I will be answering and chatting with you in the networking room. So I will put also that in the chat. So this is my LinkedIn profile. And then this is the networking page. Yeah. So feel free to connect with me there, and I hope to see you soon. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.